Right, welcome ladies and gentlemen. So the saga of the female Adeptus Custodes continues because of course the fandom behind Warhammer is not massively happy with it. And so obviously they've ruthlessly mocked Games Workshop online, which just means we've got to report on it and have a good laugh, I guess. I think it's really important, that these companies understand that the customers that they have, especially when it's an IP, like a property with really sort of deep lore and stories, and people have bought into that history and lore. Customers do have a sort of an element of ownership over it, right? Because it's a symbiotic relationship. The company wouldn't exist in its current state without customers. Obviously, the customers wouldn't be customers without the company. But unfortunately, a lot of these companies now have sort of established a very combative relationship with their clientele, seldom realizing that they can go out of business really quickly, really quickly. It's only got to take, I don't know, a quarter of the people that were fans just to disappear, and that will screw all of their margins completely. So I thought we'd take a look. So Warhammer has traditionally had male Adeptus Custodes, right? They're pretty important people, and we'd heard that Games Workshop were going to bring in females. That's right, this is a woman, if you can believe it. And they were going to bring in women, and their first iteration of it was this thing here, telling Space Marines, "You will obey." It's like, ugh. I mean, if that's not like a sort of a subtle skit on what you're trying to tell your customers to do, I don't know what is. But anyway, numerous Warhammer hobbyists have obviously taken to mocking Games Workshop for scrapping its Warhammer 40K lore, making female Adeptus Custodes and claiming they always existed, because they never did, right? Like, you can say that they've left the door open and things like that. There might be like the teeniest of arguments to support that, but they never did exist. It is retroactively working it in, and I wonder, like, what actually is the market for this as well? Like, genuinely, what is the market? Because, like, as a business, especially a company which is publicly traded and not doing massively well at the moment, like, it's doing well overall, right? But I mean, with the past month there's been a decline. 6 months, yeah, it's all right. Year to date, yeah, like, it's all right, but it's not. It's still very volatile. I mean, the whole year, 1 year, no, not great. 5 years, yeah, like, pretty bloody good. But there's key moments here where people were sort of stuck inside and they had COVID, and you see this, how volatile this market is for this company. It's not solid. They are on uneven ground. But anyway, going back to the point I was trying to make is, what's the reason behind companies doing this? Because a company, first and foremost, they have a fiduciary duty. I can't ever say that word. They've got a duty to their shareholders. They've got a duty to their investors to turn profit. And I mean, any company, their primary focus should always be profit, right? So they've got margins. They, like Games Workshop, for instance, I'm sure they buy in certain amounts of plastic at a certain, resin at a certain price, and they know that the molding process costs X, Y, and Z, and so the packaging process costs X, Y, and Z, so they know they can sell it for X, Y, and Z because then that turns them a profit. So including a woman in a predominantly male-focused game, it's not really a sport, is it? A male-focused pastime is not, like, I wonder, did they do sampling? Where's the data to imply that this would be a good move, other than this is the way all industries are going, so we must do exactly the same thing as everyone else, like a retarded sheep? Like, I can't imagine there actually is a market for it. And so then you ask yourself, well, if it's not for profit, what is it for? Oh, well, it's an ideological decision, isn't it? And then that company should get nothing but your disdain and resentment, because they're making ideological decisions over a financial one. Now, the financial one factors in you, the fan, as the primary reason for doing something. Oh, you'll like it. Cool, excellent. So they are literally pissing it, not literally, figuratively pissing in your face. Just going, well, we're going to do this because reasons. Oh, all right then, cool. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting, just a side note. But anyway, so Games Workshop obviously introduced this wench into the Adeptus Custodes. And then they said this is probably one of their biggest tweets. Since the first of the 10,000 were created, there have always been female custodians. I mean, there literally has not, but okay. A bit of backstory here. Warhammer 40K is a grimdark sci-fi tabletop. That is the #1 miniature gaming IP in the world. A lot of it actually was inspired by Judge Dredd, 2000 AD. The Adeptus Custodes are the Emperor's inner guard and much stronger and better in every way than Space Marines. And it literally says men. These men never leave Earth. And there's so much stuff. Anyway, we'll scroll all the way down because they've been absolutely torn apart. Just as an FYI, in their official website, they said this individual, Tyrith Shiva Kairis, has the privilege of being our first portrayal of a female custodian guard since the recent revelation that custodians can be any gender. Now, because you chose the word any the word any rather than either, that also shows that you've bought into full sail the ideological nonsense that there are infinity amounts of genders, right? And it's retarded. So anyway, they have rightfully been obliterated. Massively so. So we'll just scroll all the way down. Books never stated that orcs can't be custodes. Love that. That's so good. I love it. Pretty sure there has always been orky custodes. They just haven't been mentioned in any of the lore, books, codex, models, films, animation, design, discussions, or illustrations, you orc-phobe. In reality, all custodes are orcs. It's a translation mistake on the part of the books. They read, all custodes begin their lives as the infant son of the noble houses of terror. The correct translation is, all custodes begin their lives as the infant boys of the noble houses of terror. If you're not familiar with the setting and the language, it could be an easy mistake. Oh my god. It's in the same book that says that Corn is the god of cakes and that he always made cakes, but we don't show his kitchen. For fuck's sake. So funny. I do enjoy it. Anyway, just keeping you up to date on this nonsense. Let me know what you think down below. And games companies, any companies, please do respect your fans. It's really important. You are the company you are today because you have fans and you have customers. To disrespect them, not too smart. Not too smart.